Hello everyone and welcome to this video channel Science Class 8. Today we are going to learn chapter number 18. The title of this chapter is Pollution of Air and Water. We learned that pollution. What is pollution? It is undesirable change and it can be of different types. Say for example air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution or land pollution. So in this chapter number 18, we mainly studied about the air pollution and water pollution. So let's start. Pehle and Buzo were very excited to know that Taj Mahal in Agra is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Pehle and Buzo, they are very excited. Why? Because Taj Mahal in Agra is one of the 7 wonders of the world. But they were disappointed to hear that the beauty of this monument in white marble is being threatened by air pollution in the area surrounding the Taj. So this Taj Mahal, one of the 7 wonders of the world, becomes threatened by air pollution. And air pollution, the air that surrounds the Taj Mahal nearby that becomes polluted. That is why this monument, white marble monument, is being threatened. So they were eager to know if something can be done to control the air and water pollution. So they were eager to know something that can be done to control the air and water pollution. So we are all aware that our environment is not what it used to be. Our elders told about the clean water and fresh air that was available in their times. And now the media regularly reports on the falling quality of the environment. And we are already aware that our environment is not what it is used to be. So the environment now, it becomes, this day, it is not too good. And our elders told about the clean water and fresh air that was available in their times. But this time the media regularly reports on the falling quality, that means the decreasing quality of the environment. So we ourselves feel the important impact of the falling quality of air and water in our lives. So the number of people suffering from diseases of the respiratory system, say for example, is steadily rising. So we shudder to imagine a time when clean air and water may no longer be available. You have learned about the importance of air and water in your previous classes. So in this chapter, we will study about the harmful changes taking place in our surroundings and their effects on our lives. So 18.1 air pollution, let's see. We can survive for some time without food, but we cannot survive even for a few minutes without air. This simple fact tells us how important clean air is to us. So we can survive for some time without food, but we cannot survive even for a few minutes without air. So this simple fact tells us how important clean air is to us. So for the survival of the human as well as for the survival of other animals also, clean air is very important. You already know that air consists of a mixture of gases. By volume, about 78% of this mixture is nitrogen and about 21% is oxygen. Carbon dioxide, argon, methane, ozone, and water vapor are also present in very small quantities. So we already know that air consists of a mixture of gases. We already know air is a mixture of gases, and by volume about 78% of this mixture is nitrogen. So nitrogen is the largest component It composed of 78% and about 21% is oxygen. Carbon dioxide, argon, methane, ozone and water vapors are taken together about say 1% in small quantities. Activity 18.1, let's see, you may have covered your nose while passing a brick kiln emitting smoke or started curving while walking on a busy road. Figure number 18.1. On the basis of your experience, compare the quality of air at the places given below. So here a spot and a busy road, say a residential area and an industrial area, a busy traffic intersection at different times of the day, example early morning, afternoon and evening, a village and a town. So figure number 18.1, a congested road in a city. We can see here a congested road in a city. So air becomes polluted. The smoke comes out from the automobile vehicles, mixed to the air, and air becomes polluted. So now let's continue. One of your observations in the above activity could be the differences in the amount of smoke in the atmosphere. So do you know where the smoke could have come from? An addition of such substances to the atmosphere modifies it. When air is contaminated by unwanted substances, then which have a harmful effect on both the living and the non-living, it is referred to as air pollution. So air pollution, we mean it is contaminated by unwanted substances and which have a harmful effect on both the living and the non-living. That is called air pollution. Next, how does air get polluted? How does air get polluted? Now let's see. The substances which contaminate the air are called air pollutants. The substances, what substances? The substances which contaminate the air. The substances which contaminate the air are called air pollutants. Sometimes such substances may come from natural sources like smoke and thus arising from forest fires or volcanic eruptions. So the substances, what substances? The substances which contaminate the air are called air pollutants. And sometimes such substances may come from natural sources like smoke and thus arising from forest fires or volcanic eruptions. And pollutants are also added to the atmosphere by certain human activities. The sources of air pollutants are factories, figure number 18.2, power plants, automobile exhaust, and burning of firewood and dung cakes. So these are the sources of air pollutants. So smoke from a factory, we can see from this picture, huge amount of smokes produced from the factories every day, then they mix to the air and air becomes polluted. Activity 18.2, let's see. You might have read in the newspapers that respiratory problems almost amongst children are rising day by day. Conduct a survey of households in your neighborhood and among friends to find out how many children are suffering from respiratory problems. So some people may be there in any locality, they may suffer from respiratory problems. So many respiratory problems are caused by air pollution. Let us now try to find out the substances or pollutants which are present in the polluted air. So let's see. Have you noticed how rapidly the number of vehicles is increasing in our cities? Vehicles produce high levels of pollutants like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and smoke. There is figure 18.3. Carbon monoxide is produced from incomplete burning of fuels, such as petrol and diesel. and it is a poisonous gas. It reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. So oxygen carrying capacity of the blood reduce carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide is produced from incomplete burning of fuels such as petrol and diesel. So, and it is a poisonous gas, and it also reduces the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. So air pollution due to automobiles, figure from 18.3 we can see here. Do you know, let's see, if the vehicles registered in Delhi are lined up one after the other, the total length would be nearly equal to the combined lengths of the two longest rivers in the world, so Nile and Amazon. So these are what about the large number of vehicles are there only in Delhi also. So if the number of vehicles are lined up, then it may be equal to two longest rivers in the world. Then here next page, Buzo remembers seeing a thick fog-like layer in the atmosphere, especially during winters. This is a smoke which is made up of smoke and fog. A smoke may contain oxides of nitrogen, which combine with other air pollutants, and fog to form smoke. The smoke causes breathing difficulties such as asthma, so cough and wheezing in children. So smoke can cause such type of disease, such type of problems, breathing problem. And many industries are also responsible for causing air pollution. So petroleum refineries are a major source of gaseous pollutants like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is produced by combustion of fuels like coal in power plants. It can cause respiratory problems, including permanent lung disease or lung damage. You may already studied about the burning of fossil fuels in chapter number 5. In chapter number 5, we have already learned about the burning of fossil fuels like coal. So other kinds of pollutants are chlorofluorocarbons, in short we know as CFCs, which are used in refrigerators, air conditioners, and aerosol sprays. CFCs damage the ozone layer of the atmosphere. So recall that the ozone layer protects us from harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun. Harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun, ozone layer protects. Then, have you heard of the ozone hole? Yes, we have heard about the ozone hole and try to find out about it. And thankfully, less harmful chemicals are now being used in place of CFC. So, in addition to the above mentioned gases, automobiles which burn diesel and petrol also produce tiny particles which remain suspended in air for long periods. Figure number 18.3, let's see. And they reduce visibility when inhaled. They cause diseases. Such particles are also produced during industrial processes like steel making and mining. Power plants give out tiny ash particles, which also pollute the atmosphere. So here we learned that CFC, in short, chlorofluorocarbons, which are used in the refrigerators and air conditioners, and as well as in aerosol sprays, and they damage the ozone layer of the atmosphere, and it protects the ultraviolet rays emitted from the sun. So in addition to the above mentioned gases, say automobiles, say which burn diesel and petrol, they also produce tiny particles and which remain suspended in air for long periods, and they reduce visibility, and when inhaled they cause disease. Such particles are also produced during industrial process like steel making and mining. Power plant also give tiny dust particles and which also pollute the atmosphere. So activity 18.3, let's see. Prepare a table using the pollutants mentioned above. You may even add more data to the following table. Table 18.1, air pollutants, sources and effects. Case study, the Taj Mahal. Let's see. Over the past 2 decades, India's most famous tourist attraction, Taj Mahal, located in Agra, figure number 18.4, we can see, has become a matter of concern. Experts have warned that pollutants in air are discoloring its white marble. So it is not only living organisms that get affected by polluted air, but non-living things like buildings, monuments, and statues also get affected. So the Taj Mahal, it is because of the air pollution, it becomes, discoloring its white marble. So the industries located in and around Agra, like rubber processing, automobile, chemicals, and especially the Mathura oil refinery, have been responsible for producing pollutants like sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. These gases react with the water vapor present in the atmosphere to form sulfuric acid and nitric acid. The acids drop down with rain, making the rain acidic. So this is called acid rain. Acid rain corrodes the marble of the monument. The phenomenon is also called marble cancer. Suspended particulate matter, such as the soot particles emitted by Mathura oil refinery, has contributed towards the yellowing of the marble. So the Taj Mahal, its white marble becomes discoloring because of the air pollution that takes part as men from the smokes produced from the factories. The Supreme Court has taken several steps to save the Taj. It has ordered industries to switch to cleaner fuels like CNG, that is compressed natural gas, and LPG, liquefied petroleum gas. Moreover, the automobiles should switch over to unleaded petrol in the Taj zone. So, we can discuss with our elders and see what they have to say about the condition of the Taj 20 or 30 years ago, and try to procure a picture of the Taj Mahal for your scrapbook. So we can see the picture of the Taj Mahal here. So it is made of the white marble, and it becomes this time it becomes discoloring because of the air pollution. So I am reminded of the chapter on crops. I wonder whether acid rain affects the soil and plants also. Yes, acid rain also affects the soil and plants. Let's see. Greenhouse effect. What is greenhouse effect? You know that the sun's rays warm the earth's surface. A part of the radiation that falls on the earth is absorbed by it, and a part is reflected back into space. A part of the reflected radiation is trapped by the atmosphere. The trapped radiations further warm the earth. If you have seen a greenhouse in a nursery or elsewhere, recall that the sun's heat is allowed to get in but is not allowed to go out. The trapped heat warms the greenhouse. The trapping of radiations by the Earth's atmosphere is similar. That is why it is called the greenhouse effect. Without this process, life would not have been possible on the Earth. But now it threatens life. Excess of carbon dioxide in the air is one of the gases responsible for this effect. So, greenhouse effect, we had been studying about the greenhouse effect. It is excess carbon dioxide in the air. So one of the main role for causing greenhouse effect is carbon dioxide gas in the air. So you know that carbon dioxide is one of the components of air, and you have also studied say you have also studied the role of carbon dioxide in plants. But if there is excess of carbon dioxide in the air, then it acts as a pollutant. So carbon dioxide is one of the component of air. Then if excess carbon dioxide is there in the air, then it also acts as a pollutant. So here one question, but how does carbon dioxide content rise in the atmosphere and become excessive? It is one of the factors that caused by man-made activities, carbon dioxide gas. Increasing level of the carbon dioxide gas then causes greenhouse effect. So here you can you help पहले find out the answer to our question. So on one hand, carbon dioxide is continuously being released because of human activities. So now let's see. On the other hand, area under forest is decreasing. Plants utilize carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for photosynthesis, thereby decreasing the amount of carbon dioxide in the air. Deforestation leads to an increase in the amount of carbon dioxide in the air because the number of trees which consume carbon dioxide is reduced. So human activities thus contribute to the accumulation of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So carbon dioxide traps heat and does not allow it to escape into space. So as a result, the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere is gradually increasing. So this is called global warming. So we learned that a greenhouse effect, it is caused by increasing level of the carbon dioxide in the air. So carbon dioxide is continuously being released because of the human activities. And on the other hand, under forest area is decreasing. Plants cut trees, and most of the plants utilize carbon dioxide from the atmosphere for photosynthesis, and they can synthesize their own food. So the number of trees, number of plants is reducing, and deforestation also leads to an increase in the amount of carbon dioxide in the air. So because of these factors, global warming is caused. Other gases like methane, nitrous oxide, and water vapor also contribute towards this effect. Towards this effect means global warming. So like carbon dioxide, they are also called greenhouse gases. So let's see, global warming. It is a serious threat. Global warming is one of the serious threats. So let's see. Global warming can cause sea levels to rise dramatically. In many places, coastal areas have already been flooded. Global warming could result in wide-ranging effects on rainfall patterns, agriculture, forests, plants, and animals. Majority of people living in regions which are threatened by global warming are in Asia. A recent climate change report gives us only a limited time to keep the greenhouse gases at the present level. Otherwise, the temperature may rise by more than 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century, a level considered dangerous. So, global warming has become a major concern for governments worldwide. So let's see. Many countries have reached an agreement to reduce the emission of greenhouse gases. The Kyoto Protocol is one such agreement. Then, Buzo is surprised to hear that an increase in the Earth's temperature by even as little as 0.5 degrees centigrade can have such a serious effect. So Pehle tells him that she had read in the newspapers recently that the Gangotri Glacier in the Himalayas has started melting because of global warming. So global warming has great impact to human as well as other animals also. Then what can be done? Let's see what can be done. Let's see what can be done. What can we do to reduce air pollution? There are many success stories in our fight against air pollution. For example, a few years ago, Delhi was one of the most polluted cities in the world. It was being choked by fumes released from automobiles running on diesel and petrol. A decision was taken to switch to fuels like CNG, figure number 18.5, and unloaded petrol. These measures have resulted in cleaner air for the city. You might know of some other examples from your area regarding reduction of air pollution. Share these with your friends. So we can see Delhi Transport Corporation, world's largest eco-friendly CNG bus service. You can see here. So if the fuel is used as CNG, then they don't produce any air pollutants. So this is one of the good idea. And do you know about the Say No to Crackers campaign, which was organized by children from many schools? And this made a big difference to the air pollution levels around Diwali. So here, let's see, the quality of air at various locations is monitored regularly by government and other agencies. We can use this data to generate awareness about air pollution among friends and neighbors. So, quality of air at various locations is monitored regularly by government and other agencies, and we can use this data to generate awareness about air pollution among friends and neighbors. And there is a need to switch over to alternate fuels instead of the fossil. So, fuels for our energy requirements, these could be solar energy, hydropower, and wind energy. Activity 18.4, you have various options of commuting to your school, such as walking, going by bicycle, traveling by bus or other public transport, using a car individually, traveling by a carpool. Discuss in your class the impact of each of these options on the quality of air. So here, activity 18.4, we have various options of commuting to our school, such as walking or going by bicycle or traveling by bus or other public transport. So using a car individually and traveling by a carpool. So if individually moving using car, scooter, then it also may become one factor of air pollution. So small contributions on our part can make a huge difference in the state of the environment. So we can plant trees and nurture the ones already present in the neighborhood. Do you know about Ban Mahotsav, when lakhs of trees are planted in July every year? Figure number 18.6. Say children planting saplings. Nursery plants are planting children. So in order to control air pollution. So in the next page, let's see. In the next page, what it says, let's see. Buzo and Pehli once happened to go to an area where some people were burning dry leaves. They started coughing because the entire area was full of smoke. Pehle thought it would be a better option to put them in a compost pit rather than burning. Then what do you think? Yes, this is a good idea. Buzo and Pehle once happened to go into an area where some people were burning dry leaves. So burning dry leaves then they become air pollution from the smoke. And instead of burning, it is better to make compost for to be used for planting crops or vegetables. Water pollution. In class 7, you learned that water is a precious resource. Think and list the various activities in which we need water. We said that water is becoming scarce due to increase in population, industries, and agricultural activities. So, you have also studied how water becomes dirty after we use it for washing clothes, bathing, etc. This means that we are adding some materials to the water, so which spoil its quality and change its smell and color. So here in class 7, we learned that water is a precious resource and various activities in which we need water. So we saw that water is becoming scarce due to increase in population, industries, and agricultural activities. So dirty water is unsafe for using for human purposes. So whenever harmful substances such as sewage, that means the wastewater that comes from the industries, toxic chemicals, silt, etc., get mixed with water, the water becomes polluted. The substances that pollute water are called water pollutants. So the harmful or unwanted substances that pollute water are called water pollutants. So here let's see activity 18.5. Try to collect samples of water from a tap, pond, river, well, and lake. Pour it into a separate glass containers. Compare these for smell, acidity, and color. Complete the following table, table 18.2. Let's see. Tap water, smell, acidity or color. Pond water, river water, well water, lake water. Say, smell may be there, and acidity and its color may be different. And how does water get polluted? Let's see. We have to do case study. Case study. Ganga is one of the most famous rivers of India. Figure 18.7. It sustains most of the northern, central, and eastern Indian population. Millions of people depend on it for their daily needs and livelihood. So here, course of the river Ganga. Let's see, river Ganga, map of the river Ganga is shown here, and Gangotri, Haridwara, and Gurmukh, and reach to Bay of Bengal, Kolkata. Here. So, next let's continue. However, recently a study by the Worldwide Fund for Nature, WWF, found that Ganga is one of the 10 most endangered rivers in the world. The pollution levels have been rising for many years. We have reached this stage because the towns and cities through which the river flows throw large quantities of garbage, untreated sewage, dead bodies, and many other harmful things directly into the river. In fact, the river is dead at many places where the pollution levels are so high that aquatic life cannot survive. So, nowadays, the Ganga river becomes so polluted and one of the 10 most endangered rivers in the world. So, an ambitious plan to save the river called the Ganga Action Plan was launched in 1985, and it aimed to reduce the pollution levels in the river. However, the increasing population and industrialization have already damaged this mighty river beyond repair. And now, the government of India has launched a new initiative known as National Mission for Clean Ganga, NMCG, in 2016, in order to save from the pollution of Ganga river water. So let us take a specific example to understand the situation. The Ganga at Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh, that is UP, has one of the most polluted stretches of the river. And figure number 18.8, it is shown here. Kanpur is one of the most populated towns in UP. In Kanpur, a polluted stretch of the river Ganga. We can see from this picture. So here, people can be seen bathing, washing clothes, and defecating in the river. So they also throw garbage, flowers, idols of gods and goddesses, and non-biodegradable polythene bags into the river. So because of these activities, the Ganga river becomes polluted. Then at Kanpur, the amount of water is comparatively small and the flow of the river is very slow. So in addition, Kanpur has more than 5,000 industries. So this include fertilizer, detergent, leather, and pen industries. These industrial units discharge toxic chemical waste into the river. So because of this activity, Ganga river becomes most polluted. So based on the above information, think of the answers to the following questions. What are the factors responsible for pollution of the river? What steps can be taken to restore the river Ganga to its past glory? How would the disposal of garbage, etc., affect the living organisms in the river? Many industries discharge harmful chemicals into rivers and streams, causing the pollution of water. Figure number 18.9. Examples are oil refineries, paper factories, textiles, and sugar mills. Figure 18.9. Industrial waste discharged into a river. Figure 18.9. Let's see. Industrial waste discharged into a river. We can see here. And in the next page, let's see. And chemical factories. These industries cause chemical contamination of water. And the chemicals released include arsenic, lead, and fluorides, which lead to toxicity in plants and animals. There are regulations to prevent this. Industries are supposed to treat the waste produced before discharging it into waters. But quite often, the rules are not followed. The soil is also affected by impure water, causing changes in acidity, growth of worms, etc. So, these industries cause chemical contamination of water, and chemical release include, say, arsenic, lead, and fluoride, which lead to toxicity in plants and animals. And it also affect impure water, causing changes in acidity, growth, and worms also. We have learned in chapter 1 the importance of pesticides and weedicides for the protection of crops. However, all these chemicals dissolve in water and are washed into water bodies from the fields. They also seep into the ground to pollute groundwater. Now, have you seen ponds which look green from a distance because they have a lot of algae growing in them? This is caused by excessive quantities of chemicals which get washed from the fields. So this acts as nutrients for algae to flourish. Once these algae die, they serve as food for decomposers like bacteria. A lot of oxygen in the water body gets used up. This results in a decrease in the oxygen level, which may kill aquatic organisms. So these are what about the causes of water pollution. Now let's see, recall activity 18.6. You had investigated the sewage disposal system of your locality in class 7. And do you remember how the sewage was collected from your home and where it went thereafter? So the sewage produced from the factories, it mixed to the river water, then water becomes polluted. So at our home also, the sewage should be disposed at the proper place. And sometimes untreated sewage is thrown directly into rivers. Then it contains food waste, detergents, microorganisms, etc. Can groundwater get polluted by sewage? How? Let's see. Water contaminated with sewage may contain bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasites, which cause diseases like cholera, typhoid, and jaundice. Such type of disease can cause by sewage which contain bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites. So the bacteria present in the feces of mammals are indicators of the quality of water. If water has these bacteria, it means that it has been contaminated by fecal matter. If such water is used by us, then it can cause various infections. So we should not put any fecal material in the water bodies. It contains bacteria. Then when we use that water, then we may get various infections. So do you know? Let's see. Hot water can also be a pollutant. This is usually water from power plants and industries. So it is released into the rivers. Then it raises the temperature of the water body, adversely affecting the animals and plants living in it. So hot water should not be put in the water bodies. So what is potable water and how is water purified? Let's see. Activity 18.7. Let us consider a water filter with simple everyday materials. Take a plastic bottle and cut it into two halves. At the center, use the upper half as a funnel by putting it upside down in the lower half. Make layers in it with paper, napkin, or a fine cloth, followed by cotton, sand, and then gravel. Now pour dirty water through the filter and observe the filter water. Let's see, discuss the following questions amongst yourselves and with your teacher. Why do we need to filter water before drinking? We need to filter water before drinking because water may contain suspended particles and disease-causing pathogens. So filter water is better for our drinking purpose. Then where do you get your drinking water from? And what will happen if we drink polluted water? And most of the people, they get their drinking water say by buying from other sources, or some people, they may get tap water, and from that they use water. And what will happen if we drink polluted water? If we drink polluted water, then we will suffer from various diseases. Buzo is very upset. He tells Pehle that he drank water which looked clear and was without any smell, but still he fell sick. So even though when we see the water it is clear, then it is not a good water. It may contain bacteria and other disease-causing pathogens. So Pehle explains that water which looks clean may still have disease-carrying microorganisms and dissolve impurities. So it is essential to purify water before drinking. For example, by boiling. Water which is suitable for drinking is called potable water. So potable water is water which is suitable for drinking. That is called potable water. You have seen how various physical and chemical processes in the sewage treatment plants help to clean water before discharging it into water bodies. Similarly, municipal bodies treat the water before supplying it to households. Do you know, let's see, 25% of the world's population is without safe drinking water. 25% of the world's population is without safe drinking water. So let us see how water can be made safe for drinking. Now let's see. You have already seen how water is filtered. This is a physical method of removing impurities. A popular household filter is a candle type filter, and many households use boiling as a method for obtaining safe drinking water. Boiling kills the germs present in the water. Chlorination is a commonly used chemical method for purifying water. It is done by adding chlorine tablets or bleaching powder to the water. So, to get clean water, chlorination is also one of the methods which is commonly used chemical method for purifying water, and it is done by adding chlorine tablets or bleaching powder to the water. So, we must be cautious. We should not use more chlorine tablets than specified. So what can be done? Let's see activity 18.8. Investigate the level of awareness about water pollution in your area. Collect data on the sources of drinking water and the methods of sewage disposal. What are the common waterborne diseases in the community? You can consult your local doctor or health worker for this. Which are the governmental and non-governmental organizations working in this field? And what are the measures being taken by them for generating awareness? Let's see. Laws for industrial units should be strictly implemented so that polluted water is not disposed of directly into rivers and lakes. So water treatment plants should be installed in all industrial areas. Figure number 18.10. At our individual levels, we should consciously save water and not waste it. Reduce, reuse, and recycle should be our mantra. Think of your daily routine. How can you save water? Let's see. We can think of creative ideas like reusing water used for washing and for other household tasks. For example, we have to follow these 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. So, water can be reused. Water that is used for washing vegetables, we can use for watering plants. And water we use at the time of bathing, we can use at the very less quantity. That is called reduce. And recycle. Water can be recycled. So these 3 mantra can be applied. And here, water treatment plant is shown in this picture. Water treatment plant. So water treatment plant. Water used for washing vegetables may be used to water plants in the garden. And pollution is no longer a distant phenomenon, and it is affecting the quality of our daily lives. Unless we all realize our responsibility and start using environment-friendly processes, the very survival of our planet is in danger. So, our planet, that is the Earth, it is also known as the blue planet. So, we survive in this planet. So, if we do not use environment-friendly processes, then the very survival of our planet is in danger. So do you know, let's see, while brushing your teeth, leaving the tap running may waste several liters of water. So while brushing our teeth, we should put off the tap not to waste water. A tap that drips once every second wastes a few thousand liters of water every year. So think about it. So we should put the tap off while we are brushing. So if we put on while brushing, then several liters of water will waste. So at the time of using tap water, we should be very cautious not to waste water. So for today, let's stop here, and in the next video, let's see again. Okay, bye.